In Bikini Bottom, someone is constantly dropping dead. But this isn't a coincidence. Several residents down there are massacring their way through the population. And today, we're going to find out which characters have the highest kill count in the entire series. The truth behind it is a lot darker than you think. When you swim through Bikini Bottom, you could almost forget how dangerous this place actually is. Behind every smiling face hides a character who, either intentionally or completely brainlessly, has already sent someone to the afterlife.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And our first candidate is so tiny you could easily overlook him, just like his almost embarrassingly small number of victims. Plankton, the self-proclaimed arch-villain, the guy who's been trying to steal a recipe for years but can't even open a door without having a nervous breakdown. And his kill count? 1. Not even an accidental second one, just 1. The sad highlight of his criminal career happens in New Leaf, when he proudly presents Mr. Krabs with his last customer. A dead rat, dead in the middle of a chumburger, like a warning nobody wanted to read. Honestly, if your food kills me, that's not an accident. That's a culinary assault. And so Plankton sits on the list with a measly little tally mark. A historically weak start for someone who supposedly wants to rule the world. But rank 4 shows us that muscle power causes far more damage than evil monologues. Sandy Cheeks, the cute, smart squirrel from Texas. And at the same time, the only character who casually beats up clams as if they were living punching bags. Her first kill happens in her very first appearance. Sandy stands there, smiling, and punches a gigantic clam out of existence so hard that even the Flying Dutchman would mutter, "Respect." Why? No clue. Maybe the clam was angry. Maybe Sandy was hungry. Maybe it was Tuesday. But she doesn't stop at one victim. In Valentine's Day, she knocks 5 clams straight out of the sky like they're grumpy birds she's dribbling past. And honestly, if you hit an animal so hard that it vanishes in a nosedive, that thing is not getting back up. That gives Sandy 6 kills, easily surpassing Plankton in passing. Brains and biceps are apparently a dangerous combination. But the next character proves you don't need brains or muscles. Sometimes pure stupidity is enough. First up, Bubble Buddy, the friendly bubble dude who looks like he's here to give you a smile, but instead ends up in a scene that looks like the family-friendly version of Far Cry 3. A poor fish is buried up to his head in sand, like that legendary Vase Beach scene, just without tattoos and with more traumatized sea life. The tide rolls in, the water rises, the fish has no chance to dig himself out, and Bubble Buddy, he just stands there, no reaction, no sympathy, not even an oops. Later we learn he was fully conscious the entire time.
See you later, SpongeBob. Things are getting a little weird around here.
Which means he could have helped. He simply chose not to. And in that moment, it becomes clear. Bubble Buddy is probably the only one in Bikini Bottom who truly understood the definition of insanity and follows it religiously. But here comes the real surprise. Squidward's house. Not Squidward himself. His house is the real boss fight. In an absolutely unhinged scene, this stone-faced menace destroys half the neighborhood, catches a cannonball like a snack, and pulverizes a tank, including at least one person inside. Squidward stands next to it with his usual, of course this happens to me expression, while his house racks up more kills than he has career opportunities. But now, things get serious, because next is a pink starfish, whose kill count has nothing to do with logic, and everything to do with chaos. Patrick begins his kill count with a classic Patrick move. He grabs some random fish, hurls him through the air in anger, and all we hear is a dull thud. No screams, no reaction. The guy is basically done for. Then Patrick takes out 2 more unfortunate souls using nothing but his breath. Let's put it this way. If bad breath were a weapon, Patrick carries a biological WMD on his face, and then he kills 4 musicians trying to play his song. They drop one by one trying to hit the right note, as if Patrick's song is cursed. This puts Patrick at 7 kills, but none of that prepares us for the absolute disaster. In the frying games, he fails a pole vault so catastrophically that boiling oil shoots into the crowd. 49 spectators die instantly, like an accidental underwater barbecue. And Patrick? He sits there confused, while some absolutely shameless fish suddenly shows up and tries to sell the roasted corpses for $1 each. Classy, in every sense of the word. This brings Patrick to a total of 56 kills, but the next character has Navy experience, and his kill list reflects it. Mr. Krabs, the man who would sell his own mother for a penny, and as it turns out, he doesn't just have financial skeletons in his closet. He has real ones. His first official kill comes from the episode where Squidward demands a better locker. Mr. Krabs opens an old Navy locker, and inside lies the skeleton of Corporal Sterling. When SpongeBob asks who that is, Krabs dryly replies that Sterling was a little too curious. Translated, Krabs locked someone in a locker and let them rot there. That's not cartoon slapstick. That's a true crime case underwater. But the real insanity comes in his skeleton episode. A dead pirate fish sicks an army of skeleton fish on him, and Mr. Krabs pulls out a sword and slaughters 97 of them all by himself. Navy training or extreme money motivation, who knows? Since they talk, act, and have consciousness, we count them as re-kills, which gives us 1 real kill. 97 re-kills, or 98 erased existences. And Mr. Krabs didn't even break a sweat. But now comes the moment everyone's been waiting for. Because the character with the highest kill count is someone no one would expect. Until you see the numbers. Yes. Rank 1 goes to SpongeBob SquarePants himself. The guy who happily jellyfishes in the morning, grills Krabby Patties at noon, and secretly built a kill count that looks like the final score of a war game. His first victims? 5 fish he kills using nothing but his breath. I don't know what's going on in Bikini Bottom, but apparently flossing is life or death. Then his mirror reflection commits suicide with a hammer and because it can't stand SpongeBob anymore. Technically not murder, but if your reflection kills itself to escape you, it counts. Moving on, SpongeBob tosses a guy, runs someone over, and defeats a pirate with nothing but a spatula. A spatula. Some series have legendary swords. SpongeBob has kitchenware. That puts him at 9 kills, which would be a huge red flag in any normal show. But Bikini Bottom has different standards. Then comes the helicopter incident. With Sandy's Willy Bird, SpongeBob causes chaos that later leads to 94 graves. 1 single scene, 1 helicopter, 1 entire cemetery, total so far, 101 deaths. But now comes the final nightmare. SpongeBob accidentally drops an explosive cake, and this cake wipes out all of Bikini Bottom. Everyone. Literally everyone. And we can even calculate the number. Mr. Krabs once states that 12 fish equals 2% of the population, meaning about 600 residents, plus his previous victims. Approximately 701 deaths caused by SpongeBob. A kill list that no longer even sounds exaggerated. It's just insane. But now comes the plot twist. Because even though SpongeBob is officially ranked number 1, he actually isn't. Just when we thought SpongeBob was the uncontested leader, a truth surfaces, so grimy and so grotesque that even the chum bucket fryer would pause. Because the real king of killers in Bikini Bottom is Plankton. Yes, the tiny guy who started our list with a pathetic single kill comes back at the end, and suddenly looks like he's outperformed everyone else in his sleep. Why? Because Plankton runs the chum bucket. And the chum he sells? That's not some mysterious fast food blend. We see it repeatedly in the show. Inside are real eyes, real organs, real fish parts. That's not a menu, that's a corpse recycling program. And where do all these body parts come from? Naturally, from the residents of Bikini Bottom. From the ones who disappear. From the ones nobody misses. From the ones we never counted as victims, until now. Plankton basically runs an underwater meat grinder and then sells the results back to the people he processed. A lethal combination of murder and marketing. We will never know how many victims ended up in the chum bucket, but one thing is certain. He beats SpongeBob's 700 deaths easily, probably weekly. That officially makes Plankton the evilest olive in the entire series, the true number one, the real final boss, the undisputed kill count emperor of Bikini Bottom. And if this already freaked you out, just wait for what we drag out of the ocean next time. This town has way more dark secrets, and we're digging deeper. If you enjoy videos like this, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and follow so you don't miss anything. Bikini Bottom still has plenty of nightmares left.